What's up, King Creator fans? We'll need a popsicle stick and our usual super glue. Glue the popsicle stick to the base of the lighter and take the first soda can you can find in the trash. Measure the can and mark the stick. Cut it with sharp scissors. Place glue on the short edges of the stick and attach it to the mark we made previously. Measure another piece of a popsicle stick using the structure we already have as a reference and cut off the extra. Add glue again and attach it to this part of the structure. Cut the head off another popsicle stick and glue it to the structure, forming a square. Hands up! We'll only need one of those pointy sticks you used to take camping for roasting marshmallows and hot dogs. Create a couple of holes in the square with a sharp knife or a drill, which would be more logical. Once ready, insert the stick through both holes and cut off the excess using a pair of cutting pliers. Now, like the responsible people we are, let's recycle the cap from the bottle of water that we drank this morning and glue it to the stick opposite of where the lighter is pointing. Open a small Coke and pour it into the beaker. I haven't washed the dishes and I didn't have any glasses. It happens to everyone. Put glue all around the edge of the hole and insert the wooden stick all the way into the can. Let's test to see if it rotates properly. We could turn it ourselves, but why do that if we can make it turn automatically? Glue the tiny motor to the top of the frame and attach a rubber band from the motor to the lid. Of course, the motor won't run by itself. We'll have to set up an electrical circuit to supply power to it. Attach the clasp to the long lighter and connect the red wire to one of the motor plugs. Glue the switch to the popsicle stick structure and connect the remaining black wire to it. We certainly can't forget the big battery. Connect it to the clasp and simply press the switch to make the can go round and round and round. I like to call these little guys screw hooks, but while searching on Google, I found that they're called galvanized eye bolts. What an ugly name! After making the marks you see on the screen, proceed to screw in the hooks using them as a guide for the next set. Practically, all you'll need to do is get some mini fireworks for your rotating rocket launcher. After cutting off the pieces, put them through both sets of hooks. If you're really lazy, you can rotate it to insert the missing ones. I'm not judging you, just pointing out the obvious. All set. No need to explain the logic behind how it works, do I? This experiment reminds me of the famous towers they put up at parties in my country in December. They're giant, metallic structures that have a pinwheel with colorful fireworks at the top. When they're lit, they begin to spin from the momentum, creating quite a spectacle. The following is a recipe rather than an invention. What? Did you think all I was good at was making inventions and recycling items? Well, no. I also know a little bit about baking thanks to the fact that I helped my grandmother bake cookies and cakes. I was the mixer and the certified taste tester. The first ingredient is powdered gelatin. Take a few spoonfuls and pour them into the beaker until the scale reads 6.7 ounces. Now, we'll need a saucepan or a deep pot, where we'll pour approximately 400 milliliters of water and then 6.7 ounces of gelatin. Can I tell you a secret? When I was a kid, I thought gelato was Italian for gelatin, but it turns out it's ice cream. What a shame. Pour it into another large beaker and add a few drops of food coloring. Empty the beaker until it's about 60% full. Remember how we're always eating lots of popsicles for our inventions? Well, the idea for this recipe came from the fact that my nutritionist told me that if I keep eating ice cream with so much sugar, next time I'd come rolling in. How nice! After a couple of hours, take the future Jello popsicles out of the fridge. Take out the milk too while you're at it. Pour about 200 milliliters and add the same amount of powdered gelatin as before. Move everything straight into the pot and mix on the stove. Once it's the consistency of gorilla snot, divide it equally and place it with a spoon in the extra space on top of each popsicle, and put them back in the fridge for a couple of hours. I know it's a lot of waiting, but you know how it is in the kitchen. Just ask your mom. Pour some more water back into the pot and more gelatin powder. You know the process, right? Now, instead of red, we'll use green food coloring. So while I repeat the process, let's keep talking. What kind of gelatin do you like best? I like lime Jello. It's so sweet and has a great consistency. As for cake, I prefer coffee cake or cheesecake, but that's another matter. One last stop to the fridge and that's it. Our Jello popsicles just need a little decoration to look like pieces of watermelon. We'll use chocolate chips as the seeds. They work wonders. With these, my nutritionist will no longer be able to tell me anything. For today's last invention, we'll need a coward's lighter. I mean, a long lighter. And one of these trinkets with 1,001 tools, of which I still can't remember the name. With this mini screwdriver, remove the screw that holds the entire lighter together and begin to disassemble all of its pieces. If you're wondering why I said it was for cowards, well, I will tell you. Once, my brother bought one of these to light the stove because he didn't want to burn his fingers. Haha, he didn't have the guts. Remove the gas conduit, which will be used for transporting the fuel needed for the blowtorch. Don't go rob any CVS or corner store with this, for God's sake. Simply unplug it from the gas outlet of the lighter compartment. Once we have the conduit in our hands, look for a street artist and take one of his precious spray paint cans. Remove the head from the can and enlarge the hole it already has with any tool you have on hand. It was to be expected that the next step would be to connect the conduit from the lighter to the hole we enlarged. To avoid fuel leakage, secure the conduit with our reliable instant glue. At any supermarket, buy a can of butane, which, in case you didn't know, is what all lighters come with. Open it and with some tweezers cut the excess. Then connect the conduit and top from the other can. On second thought, it would have been better to ask Mr. Street Artist for the dispenser of one of their empty cans instead of just taking it. Find the oldest clothespin your mom has and place glue on the front part. Then glue it to the fuel can as you can see on the screen. Finally, we'll need an ordinary lighter which we'll attach to the bottom of the clothespin. Make sure the switch is facing downwards, or else you'll burn yourself. Our flamethrower is ready. Just turn on the lighter and at the same time operate the head of the spray can so that out comes a long flame. You can use it for any number of things, such as lighting the charcoal for your grilled meat without looking like a fool after 1 hour of not being able to light the grill normally. Or melt solder without a soldering iron, like I'm doing. Yes, I know it's more practical to do it directly with a soldering iron or a common lighter, but come on, you can't tell me it's not more fun to do it this way. So, see how nice these hardened solder drops look? Another option is to use it in case you don't have a stove in your house or for cooking while camping. Whoever tells me that it's better to buy an electric grill will receive a visit from me and my blowtorch to see if they still feel the same way. Thanks for watching our inventions made out of household items today. Follow my channel if you'd like to learn more about making simple yet incredible inventions. Also, click on the link to see more videos about my amazing inventions. Click on the link to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.